show you casting off now. So I've done my knitting, I've done some interesting increasing, decreasing, and now I want to take it off the machine. So I'm going to show you a finished cast off. There are a couple of different ways to do a finished cast off, but this one is a fully finished cast off. What I'm going to do is I'll take my yarn out of the carriage. So undo the latch and pull it out, and the carriage can just move off to the side. I want at least 3 times the length of my knitting. So I'll just pull out 3 times the length, break my yarn, and just hook that off. So I'm just going to take my weights off because there's nothing so distressing as having a weight fall on your foot as you're casting off. Casting off is very similar to decreasing when you're decreasing in multiples. Again, you transfer the first stitch. At this point though, I actually grab some of the side and just loop it back onto that original stitch. What this is going to do is, as you're casting off along here, you're relying on your own hand tension to see how tight that knitting is going to be, and sometimes you will actually have your knitting go in like this when you cast off, and so we want it just to hook along every so often so that we make sure that we continue having the tension of the bed and that knitting will stay nice and square at the top. So this needle that I just transferred onto, that has 2 stitches. I am going to loop my yarn in front of the latch, pull it through, and I will have one stitch on that needle. I will transfer that stitch onto the next, pull it all the way out, and again knit that off using both hands. So transfer your stitch, loop it, and knit it off. Transfer, loop it, and knit it off. And so we'll keep doing this. Every so often we might like to just loop another needle out so that we maintain the tension of the needle bed. So transfer, knit off. So try not to be too tight. Your hands are doing very different actions as well. So you'll notice that this hand, it's holding the yarn, it's holding the knitting back, and my other hand is holding the tool and moving the needle. So just think about what my hands are doing. So my right hand is pushing the needle in with the tool, transferring. My left hand is holding that knitting in place so it's easy to transfer, and then it loops the yarn over while my right hand pushes the needle out and in. Don't hold this too tight as well, again just because you do need to pull that across to the next needle, so you don't want it too light, too loose, or too tight, just nice and firm. Okay, and we're coming up to our last stitch. So when we do our last stitch, again we're transferring onto that final needle. We knit it off once and then we push it out all the way. We only have one loop on there, but we're just gonna knit that through again. And with this loop, you just want to pull it all the way through, and that's actually going to pull tight and create a knot. So we can unloop that and we can see that it's still nice and square in line with the tension of our knitting.